Each one of us are going to give our 5 books that we think you should keep an eye out for if you're looking for a Christmas gift or a Hanukkah gift or whatever gift, maybe a birthday gift, whatever, for whoever in your life who likes comics, or maybe one that you want to introduce to comics. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
No, I want you to go first.
Okay. What
was your idea?
Okay. I would start off. Everybody, one of the most popular characters in all of the world. We all know he's not one of my favorite, however, but that's fine. Batman White Knight, despite me not being a huge fan of the character, I think Batman White Knight is a great place to start, not just for experienced readers, but I think it's a good one even for beginner ones. You don't really need to know anything.
It's a standalone story, yeah.
Yeah, the more you know about the movies and the animated series, you see how Sean Murphy ties in all the different aspects of the Batman mythos into one cohesive story, and you see a crazy Batman in that story. I think it makes Frank Miller's Batman look almost sane.
Yeah, it was a cool look on the Batman mythos.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. White Knight's a really good one.
Great art also.
Mm-hmm. The art is really good.
And it's a one and done story. You don't need to buy anything else.
I'm very surprised that you led with a Batman story. I was expecting Superman out of the gate. Does it just mean the rest of them are going to be Superman? I'm going to sit through 4 Superman picks? Okay, cool.
We'll see.
I too am going to go Batman first. I'm going to go year 1 though.
Okay.
I feel like that's
classic.
Like the place to start. Yeah. It's the origin story of Batman basically.
Brings in all the mafia aspects,
all the Gotham goodness, all the dirtiness of the city
before all the crazies hit Gotham, and added a lot to the mythos of the character because it started questioning whether Batman inspired his villains or whether it was the other way around. So.
Yeah, and it's been out long enough now, and they've done enough editions of it that you can find like a nice hardcover for fairly
absolute
cheap.
edition.
Yeah, absolute editions.
That's a lot. That's not cheap.
So if you don't just want to hand somebody, just a trade paperback, you can get a little fancier with it.
Yeah.
For not a whole lot of money. Yeah.
So my next one is going to be one that I love a lot. It is one that you do not want to give children. It is one that you would definitely want the person probably to be 16 or older before you give it to them. J. Michael Straczynski did a run on Supreme Power, which was the Squadron Supreme. It's Marvel's version of the Justice League. A great take on the characters, a more realistic take on the characters. I love DC. The part that I love about them is that they are the people you aspire to be. This is Marvel's take on it, where these are not the people you aspire to be. It is retelling Superman's origin. Ma and Pa Kent stand-ins take Superman home. They're all happy. They have their child, and when the government knocks on the door and like, hey, we want that baby, and then they raise the child to be their weapon.
That's another surprise. You're surprising me.
I love that series. I will tell you, just as a warning for that one though, there was never really an ending to it because Straczynski and Marvel did not get along. Straczynski and anybody doesn't really get along. He rubs people the wrong way, but he is a phenomenal writer. He does.
Okay. All right. No, that's a good one. It's a little obscure. I feel like that's a good one.
I'm trying to hit a whole bunch of different genres.
You need all of it. You want to give people we're going to give people a wide variety of
things. That's what I'm trying
for.
All right.
I'm gonna go Saga. The first Saga. Yeah, amazing story. Art's amazing.
You want to give a quick rundown of the premise?
This is also very much a don't give this to a kid book. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of wild stuff that happens. Basically, it's the story of a small family. In the universe, there's warring planets and moons, and it's a mom from one place and a dad from another. They have a kid, and basically the whole galaxy is looking for this child.
A lot of people describe it as Star Wars meets Romeo and Juliet.
That's probably
just boiling it down to
with like Sin City mixed in there. Yeah, there's a lot of violence. There's a lot of sex. There's a lot of weird stuff, but there's also a lot of
television head guy.
Yeah, there's a TV head guy. But there's a lot of really.
Brian K. Vaughan was the writer, is the writer.
Yep.
Fiona Staples with the art.
Amazing. Fiona Staples is so good. There's a lot of really not so much undertones because they're pretty close to the surface, but there's a lot of really deep thought provoking things about what is family and what is love, and what the meaning of life and your life and living it well. And it's an amazing book.
Gotcha. So I'm going to go with a writer that you and I both like a lot, Jeff Lemire. This is going to be a book that's a little bit different.
Tom King.
What's that?
Are you going to say Tom King?
I will never say that. I don't drink, so you're not going to. Anyway, sorry. Plutona, again, a book that you were thinking I was going to say one of the many other books that he's written. You can't really go wrong with any Jeff Lemire book, but
no.
Plutona is like Stand By Me, but with the superhero being the person who is dead that they find in the woods, and it's a test of these young teenagers' relationship, friendship with each other. If I remember correctly, there's nothing really pushing the envelope in that one, maybe a scene or two, but nothing that I wouldn't give to like
Lemire
maybe
doesn't usually do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would say like 13 years and older, maybe a little bit younger than that, but I would still put probably 13 years old as the starting point.
And that's probably one of his less like weird and like ethereal kind of books. He usually kind of writes very loosely and leaves a lot to the imagination.
Again, a standalone book.
Most of his stuff is though, or short runs, with the exception of like Sweet Tooth and maybe there's a couple other ones that are a little longer. But generally, you can pick up, a contained story in 1 to 2 trades.
So you read Plutona before?
Yeah,
great book. I like it a lot.
It's a good one. I like Jeff Lemire a whole lot.
So your third pick?
I'm gonna go with the first Preacher book.
Okay.
The original, the OG.
So this is for like 6-year-olds?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Give it to your toddlers.
I was reading it to Avery last night.
Man. Were you really?
No. I don't even read that.
I was gonna say, I don't think Preacher's.
It pushes my envelope.
That pushes a lot. It pushes a lot of envelopes. A lot of people like the TV show, the AMC version, I think, or what FX, whatever it is. I don't remember.
I forget which one
I
it was.
didn't. I think the book is so much better, and there is so much to unpack in this one. You just kind of got to read it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so much.
So it's a character on search for God to get. If you want to give the premise.
So, God basically leaves. He gives up on Earth and his creation. He just abandons it. Some stuff happens. And the main character, Jesse Custer, gets these powers and gets the full story about what happened. And he's angry, and he goes on a cross-country search for God to give him the old what for.
And I want to make it clear, I'm not saying that the reason it's not for me is not because it's bad. It's just not what I would.
No, there is a lot of really wild stuff that happens in that book. Yes.
So, if you like The Boys, over the top kind of mayhem and storytelling.
And like the show was kind of over the top. The book is even further over the top.
Yeah. I just wanted to make clear that I'm not saying I didn't say that I wasn't reading because it was bad.
No, it's an amazing story.
So my fourth pick by a writer that you've mentioned, not the same pick though, Brian K. Vaughan. Toss up. I went with Ex Machina out of Ex Machina and Why the Last Man. I love politics, and now this one is not a standalone. I think it's 5 books, if I remember correctly. This guy finds, I think it's 5. It might be 6, but I think it's 5. The guy is an engineer. He finds a suit that gives him superpowers. He is terrible at it.
Bad. Just bad.
So he decides he still wants to help people, and he decides to run for mayor. He is equally as ill prepared for the power of politics as he was for the power of the suit. So, I think it's a great allegory for like how, yes, we bestow this power upon people, but it's not necessarily something that they are suited for, and they may have the best intentions in the whole world, and it just doesn't necessarily go the way they want. And I think it's good, especially in today's political atmosphere, to read something like that and see like
one of his better stories too.
Yeah, I don't think that one gets enough play. I think that one.
I think it gets overshadowed by his other stuff.
He's a great writer.
He is a great writer, and I think that one flies a little bit under the radar because it's not like his usual stuff.
And I think it handled the politics very, very even-handedly. I don't think he really came out and was. I think he's probably a very liberal person from what I've read, like off page. But on the page, I think he gives a very like even-handed kind of approach to it. So,
Sandman.
Sandman?
That first Sandman book. I know someone gave it to me as a young person, and it changed a lot of things. It's an amazing story.
Neil Gaiman, 75 issues. I think it was 10 volumes. I think it's 10 volumes.
10.
But they've done like
Yeah.
3 other things with it also. Endless Nights, the Sandman Overture, and I think there's one
There's
more.
all
that I'm
kind.
drawing
Yeah,
a
there was a
blank
bunch
on.
of other stuff.
Oh yeah, if you include Death and all the other.
If you have like, you know,
the Netflix
like
show coming out also.
a goth kid on your wish list, you don't know what to give them. Give them Sandman.
Yeah.
They'll love it.
A lot of literary allusions throughout.
Lots. Yeah, it's one of those. This definitely ain't like a superhero book. It's definitely, there's not like big kapows and bangs and gadzooks and stuff. It's very deep. It's very literal.
I know everybody.
Literary, I should say.
A lot of people tell me that their favorite issue out of all of it is the cereal convention.
Yeah,
so.
that's a weird one. I mean, of all like the wild stuff that happens in that book, and like I think is that it was very just like shocking.
Colleen Durant art, Sam Keith art. I'm drawing a blank on other names.
It's one of the first books that really kind of mixed that like visual tone that matched the story. At least for me, growing up with superhero comics, you know what I mean? And even like the horror books back in the day were still very much like comic serial-y, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was like my first exposure to that like kind of different. It's not a superhero book. It's a weird literary
Helped launch
story.
Vertigo.
Yeah, totally.
It wasn't Vertigo at first, I believe. I think it was a couple issues into it, but.
Yeah.
Good choices. My final one is an Alan Moore classic. Not Watchmen, though. It is V for Vendetta. That's my favorite one that he wrote. I love politics. I love that, you give people too much power, it will be abused. And that's basically what the story is. I'm sure most of the people, if not all the people who are watching this, have watched the movie by this point. It's been out.
But at least it is a movie. There's always that. It's giving a gift to somebody that they don't necessarily might not know about. At least there's that connection to the movie.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
This guy is very angry with the government.
He's a little peeved.
and,
Just a little teeny bit.
and I liked it a lot.
It's a good story. Yeah.
I actually handed a V for Vendetta #1 over to our pressing and cleaning people today. So
That was a nice plug. It was a nice transition there.
I'm not supposed to mention it. It's not smooth that way.
I mean, I was complimenting you. All right, so I get one more?
Yeah, one more.
I don't know. God, there's so many good choices.
You haven't done a Lemire one yet, have you? You haven't done a Lemire one yet, have you?
I don't know, like color peoples. And I mean, yeah, the Lemire is good. I mean, Gideon Falls. Another one that I don't want to be like the weird indie guy though.
Okay, choose a mainstream one.
Yeah. You know what's a really good one now for the times? I think that kind of foreshadowed some stuff is DMZ.
TMZ.
That's another good one. I think it's only 4.
Who's that? Brian Wood.
Yes. So that's not a very long one. Basically, the premise is there's a uprising of conservative militias in the United States. There's like a second civil war. It grinds to a halt, and basically the DMZ, the line, is the East Coast. New York is a demilitarized zone. It's about a kid who is a new, like, CNN reporter who goes into the DMZ, ends up getting stuck, and he ends up living in New York during this whole thing, and stuff happens. So he's like a reporter in New York while the country is at war. So it came out, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe?
Oh, I think longer than that.
Maybe longer than that, yeah.
Yeah, I
But there's
think
a
it
lot
was
of there's a lot of stuff in there that is still,
I think that was early 2000s.
yeah, still kind of pertinent today.
Yeah.
And it's a cool read about politics and war and
You know what I've shocked disappeared? Briggs Land. That book started off really strong.
yeah, that was another good one. Yeah,
I thought that one had
yeah.
started off very strongly. And
5 books is really hard. There's
There's-
many good ones out
And that's
there.
the thing. I want to make sure that we say that. Like, there's so many different genres out there in comics right now. No matter whether you shop here or at other stores, ask whoever's working there. Like, tell them the genre that you're looking for, and if they know their stuff, they should be able to help you like find the book that is appropriate for the person you're looking for.
All else fails, find something with a cool cover on it.
Yeah.
And trades too, like there's always like a blurb on the back of kind of like there's like an overview of what the book is about, so you can, you know what I mean?
Well, we were spoiled this year with a lot of great books. Also, I mean,
They have definitely been stepping up the trade game, and
we didn't even mention like Three Jokers.
Three Jokers, was
almost all the
super
Black
duper
Label stuff. I know
Yes.
people hate the oversized format, but when the trade hits, I mean, it's
Damned.
easier to store up
Batman
on the
Damned,
on the bookshelves than it is those individual issues. And
Black Mirror. That's
Black
got to be
Mirror.
like an honorable mention.
Yeah, that.
I feel like Black Mirror is like a book for like somebody who is kind of already a comic book fan, maybe.
So as much as I'm not a Batman fan, I had like 5 books. I was like, I can't.
And then I didn't want to be like Black Mirror. At first, you're gonna be like, I know Black. Like you knew like, oh, you're the Batman guy. It's gonna be Black Mirror. Yeah. But there's just.
And that's the thing. Even characters you don't like, I promise you that there's probably a storyline that is out there that would.
Sure,
would,
and even like this stuff. Lola Woods and was it Four Heads
Hill House.
Hill House, Hill House, yeah. Any of their like self-contained one
like
shot
horror stuff.
Yeah, like horror stuff. But the hardcover editions of those are put together super nice and they're really not expensive. They're like $25 or something.
Yeah. So what we're saying is there's lots of good ideas
Totally.
out there.
Super,
and again,
super
whether
lots.
you shop through us, whether you shop through other stores, but giving comic books I think is a great thing to
Of course, we think it's a great thing.
well, like I said, even whether you shop here or not, like, and I mean that, like, I think kids reading anything that will inspire them to go further into reading is a good thing. So,
Sure.
all right, so we'll turn the page on that one. We gave probably 13 or 14, 15.
Sure.
Maybe not as detailed on the last 5, but
It's okay.
so we'll turn the page on that one.
I didn't even mention Something is Killing the Children. I fought it so bad.
Department of Truth.
Department of Truth. God, Gideon Falls.